though. I like that.
First time I ever heard that was Myron Gaines. I don't. Um, if you look at I'm sorry, if you go on YouTube and just type in Myron Gaines Candy Shop, someone made a animated version. It's his voice and it's animated.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny as hell. But it talks about the
Yeah, I'm
candy
like,
shop, and
okay.
I like that analogy as well. I mean, it does work, and it's hard for guys to get into it takes time for us to get into the candy shop. But I want to start with Brother Financial, and then we'll just open it up to the three of us. But um, Brother Financial, you got anything you want to say about the what we talking about before? Or can we gonna just swing right into the real shit?
Yeah,
Swing
all
to
right,
the
let's
real.
go to the real stuff. I'll defer.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
both of us the same thing. We like the real shit.
Oh, that's
Let's
what's up
get to
then.
it. Yeah.
Well, brother Ronnie, do me a favor. We'll start with you, man. Let my folks know who you are. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
We definitely know you're in the Marine Corps,
Yes,
and
sir.
where you are now,
Yeah.
and
So,
why you're there, all that good stuff.
all right, I'm semi-retired. I'm a prior Marine. Actually, once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. I served 8 years active duty during the Gulf War era. We were first in for Gulf War. Matter of fact, we did pre-missions way before the Gulf War even started.
Pretty sure the
So
82nd was there before y'all, but I'm just saying. But
nah,
continue.
y'all flew in. We were already on water, brother. We were doing the ship interdictions, beating up little Iranians trying to get in and out of the Gulf way before you guys even touched down. But
Facts.
anyway, yeah, y'all 82 did fly in though, and y'all were on some of the same bases we were on when we actually hit sand. You know what I mean? But
Yes, sir.
ultimately, I got out and I went into sales. I already had a wife and kids. So I got into sales. I've been in sales almost 35, 40 years. And before I got out of that type of deal, I got into insurance. So I became a fiduciary. Okay. So I was doing life insurance, health insurance. I was doing supplemental. Then I got off into retirement and annuities and different things like that. All right. So then, short of getting my Series 6, Series 7, where I was going to trade stock, because I have a conscience, and I like to sleep at night. And sometimes when you make recommendations on the stock market, you as a broker, you're always going to get paid commission, whether it's a win or a loss, and I was more wanting to recommend people on winning than losing and not taking a commission if I lost. So, same thing. I tried to sell cars for a while and I couldn't sell cars.
Yeah, I did
I
that.
always
Couldn't do
had a
it.
confidence. Yeah, I couldn't do it because I knew the finance department was running them up on in the finance department with all the extras. So I couldn't do that either. But ultimately, like I said, I ran my own agency for almost 5 years in California. I had almost about 300 agents working for me, and I had a book of business of 5,000 individuals, which I got to keep, and actually I keep rolling them over every year. And then, I've sold them retirement plans. I also do trust counseling with trust and everything else. But now with where I'm at today, because I am semi-retired, I don't keep my licenses active. So now I can talk to you without you feeling like, oh, you're only telling me this because you want to sell me something. No, I can recommend everything you need, but I'm going to point you to somebody who's actively working in the business.
Well, that's
At
what's up,
least you
bro.
know
Cause
how to structure, at least you know how to structure the products. You know exactly what you need, and you can verify whoever's talking to you is actually telling you the real what you should be expecting to do and how you actually protect yourself financially.
I want to bring you back for just a solo show so we can really dig down on that because I think a lot of these cats need to hear that. So I appreciate that. So you live in the Philippines, and
Yes,
why did
sir.
you move there? Why did you move there? What's it like? And then we're gonna bring up Brother Financial.
Well, I came here for two reasons. One was my peace. I am a PTSD sufferer. And one of the places I felt really at home, even in my travels, was the Philippines. The people were super nice. It didn't hurt that the peso was really economical against the dollar. You talking 61, 62 pesos per dollar right now. At the time when I got here, it was only 57. So we're
Oh
only
wow.
benefiting right now at this time. So the peso, like my overhead right now is $1,200 a month. My initial overhead in America was 16 just for the overhead on the mortgage.
I mean, yeah.
Damn,
I
the
mean, just
electric bill and everything else and the food and all that. I'm talking 1,200
insurance.
clear, right? And I'm working on AI automation right now. I'm doing AI music or AI videos. I'm also working on AI automation for platforms as far as it doing the work for me while I sleep. You know, so that's what I'm learning, and I'm able to do that without any pressure because I don't have any monkeys on my back in this situation. But also, I was talking to a young Filipino way before I left the United States. You know, we're going on about 2.5, 3 years, and I've been here now as of May 2025. I've been here a year in a couple months in the Philippines.
Okay. Shit, that's what's up. I know it's just the elevator pitch version of your story, but I definitely want to bring you back for a full episode, man, because I know, man, we could talk because shit, we were chewing on the same damn dirt, bro. I was over there. I was on Top Line Road. You guys were on the Kuwaiti side.
Yeah, we were definitely on the water side. We had done Falaka Island and some water missions way before, and then we actually hit the beach.
Yeah, we were inland,
and then
so
ran
I was on the
inward.
other side.
Yeah, we had to run inland because you guys are already ahead of us.
Yeah, that went quick once the balloon went up. So I want to bring Brother Financial up, man. Same thing, bro. Can you give us a quick elevator pitch of the who, what, when, where's, and why's, and then we'll open it up to to the real talk because I definitely want to pick y'all brains about some stuff.
Yeah, what's going on? Shout out to everybody on the DL Saint channel. Much respects to the two, brother. And also, Ronan, I wanted to say you a PTSD survivor.
That's right.
So I kind of like to rephrase and change the perspective. But all right, so I was born in 19. No, I'm just kidding. So so basically, man, I don't know. I was born, single mom. My dad passed away when I was like 1. And so I was bad at school. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. So I had to go somewhere. I went to the military. I made up a story later saying I always knew I was going to go, but that's cap. I just went because I knew I wasn't disciplined. I knew that I couldn't look men into their eyes. I knew I had problems inside that I needed to fix, and I thought the military was a good solution for it. Signed up, went to Iraq, did some tours in Iraq, went down range to Iraq. Then after that, I did top secret security work with the Department of State / in the military. So I did that for about 3 years, served all over the world at embassies, and it was fun. Showed me a lot. I learned a lot, had a massive amounts of experiences. I actually had good relationships with women while I went, so you could chew and walk gum at the same time. But I was always focused on one thing, which was my mission. So when I got out, I did contracting for a bit for the military, still top secret work. Then after I did that, I guess you could say over the years, I invested in real estate, kind of did residential, did some house hacks. Then I moved into industrial real estate with some partners that I actually built with relationships when I was working out in Israel. I still continue to focus on my stock portfolio, invest. And then, when I looked up, I was a millionaire and then a multi-millionaire. And then at one point I just said, why don't I retire? Life is short. After everything I've seen and I've been through, I realized man, you one step to the left, one step to the right, and you're out of here. And so I think the world is divided by two people, those that don't know how to start making money and those that don't know when to stop. And so once I decided I needed to stop at 32, I decided to retire. And it's been like 7 years since, and I never looked back. This was the greatest decision I made. And so I still invest. It's called a family office. I run my portfolio remotely. I call it remote wealth. And I focus on investing in things like big homie in the background, SpaceX. I got into that early, long time when it was still a private company. And I invest mostly in the public market. And that's what I do now today.
Man, so shout out to both of you brothers. I appreciate that. Wow. All right, so I think we should start with networking. How important is networking, gentlemen?
That's huge. It's the quickest way to bust open doors is through your network. Back in the day, you used to say the good old boy network. That's networking. That's reputation. That's family. That's obligation. Through whatever connections they had, they're kind of obligated to push that person ahead of maybe somebody that's qualified. Networking is the closest thing to that without maybe, the racism aspect of it. You know, learning how to talk, introduce yourself, make yourself endeared to somebody. You know, those are the keys of, you know, getting doors to open up for you, making business, starting your own business. You gotta know how to talk. You know, I train a lot of salespeople. That's my business for a while. So I used to tell them to watch a couple movies. And financial like this. I used to tell them to go watch The Boiler Room, go watch Glengarry Glen Ross, and believe it or not, Black Sheep with the comedian that died, that used to be on Saturday Night Live. And I wanted to see what my sales potential people picked up from those movies. I don't know if you guys have seen those movies or not.
A couple. I don't recall Black Sheep though, but you know, you'll send it to me.
Yeah, Black Sheep was more about him inheriting a family business in, I think it was oil filters or something like that, and he tried to be his dad instead of being himself. Okay. And so he started offending some of his clients that were long-term clients of the manufacturing place that his dad owned, that he inherited. And then over time, he started learning to have his own style. And then he started winning back business after he lost it at first, because his dad wasn't around. And the one thing you guys don't realize is people buy from people. You know, I learned this a long time ago. People buy from people. They don't buy from corporations or companies that you work for. They buy from you. You carry the reputation, and then people trust you enough to buy. I've gone from business to business, and let me tell you, I used to sell, before I sold medical supplies for county agencies, won some huge deals there, went over to network infrastructure. So huge amounts of business to the same county agencies in networking. Switch from that to insurance. That opened my door, but you have procurement officers in different areas. So even though you have a procurement officer in IT, you also have a procurement officer health services for medical supplies. And then, like I said, when you got into the insurance, then you're going into the employment insurance procurement officer. And everything goes out by, contract. I knew government contracting like the back of my head.
Well, you definitely, when we do that one-on-one show, bro, I'm definitely going to pick your brain on government contracting, SAM.gov, and the importance of that. You really you really touched on something that I like there when you were talking about sales is really about you. I'll tell you just about Hollywood, man. One of my homeboys told me when we were trying to pitch an idea for a show that we had. It was called Geek Talking. And we didn't get into the room because COVID happened, but we had set up a pitch. And one of my buddies told me, he was, a cool kid in the Hollywood world. He's like, hey man, don't worry about what you're pitching. You're selling you, not that concept. Because if they like you, they might not pick up Geek Talking, but they might have another project that they want to attach you to. I'm like, what, as a producer? They're like, yes, absolutely, as a producer. Because if they like you, you're in. Brother Financial, can you give us an example, real life example of the first real networking success you ever had?
Yeah, I could give you a good example. Shout outs to the big homie. It's called Big Pockets, Bigger Pockets. It's actually just a real estate. It's one of the largest real estate social networking platforms. So a lot of people went there. It's on YouTube. It's literally, that's where they started. But you went there as a real estate investor and you can network with a bunch of people. I mean, literally, if you ask a question in there, somebody's answering it from that zip code, from that area. They're putting you in touch with real estate investment groups, everything like this. So I just went online and I was like, my biggest problem was I was trying to convince my family and friends to do real estate. But prior to that, they was, making Subway sandwiches. So I'm trying to switch a Subway sandwicher to building out real estate development. I mean, versus going to where the animals were already at the well, they were already drinking from the water, and me going over there and linking up with like-minded people. So once I was like, all right, let me stop trying to convert everybody and go to people who are already doing what I want to do. that's where I saw success. I built a connection with my Jewish partners, and then we built out the real estate investment firm. So that was my first successful networking, where I was like, I had to first go to the right place where it was rich with good, high quality people who achieved things that I want to achieve. I went to other networking events, but there were just a lot of talkers at those events. So I had to go find a high quality event, lock in, and then once I did that, we were able to build a relationship, and then I became acquisition manager of the company, and we did numbers. And so that was my first experience of a high quality networking.
Young cats, did y'all hear that? And here's the thing. How many events have you gone to, fellas, networking events, where it just goes bust? And a lot of people like, man, you just wasted 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever. And it's like, people say that to me. I'm like, I didn't waste shit because I met this person. And then that person put me on to this group. Have you guys experienced that?
Heck yeah.
Yeah. I never take in sales, I never take anything as a loss. It was an opportunity. Okay. And I either passed or made an opportunity and I turned it into something, or I didn't. But it was a learning experience. If I didn't, I analyzed what I didn't say right and improved on it for the next time I had an opportunity. But I never took it as a loss, like, oh my God, I just effed up. No, that's a learning experience. Everything in life is a learning experience. Stop making it so sensitive that, damn, I didn't get it. You're not going to get them all. That's the whole thing about people not being able to accept the word no.
Yes. And that goes to dating too, guys. We was out here talking about getting on these shorties. I'm like, look, man, sometimes you got a machine gun with that shit. I'm older now. When it comes to women, I can sit back and just snipe. You know what I'm saying? One shot, one kill. I get what I want. But when I was younger, bro, I was behind the 60, baby. I was letting it go. Like, I'm gunning at everybody. And I'm like, I'll get somebody. Brother Mandrell, this is my favorite Green Beret on the planet. What's happening, fam? We got Brother Mandrell in the building. Like I told you to invest in SpaceX. I did. Yeah, bro, I'm looking at SpaceX now, man. It's falling off a cliff. I think it's good. I think SpaceX is a good investment for the next 30 years, possibly. I am worried because it's really an AI business, and I think the AI bubble is gonna pop. Since I know Brother Financial is a big fan of Elon, I'm gonna let Brother Financial go ahead and say his piece first, and then we'll jump over to Brother Ronan.
You said I'm a big fan. That's facts. Because you know what? The big homie's been giving me 44% for the last 25 years in all his ventures. And so I had opportunities to invest in that. But I invested in SpaceX when it was like 200 billion market cap. So obviously right now it's surpassed that, right? So that would be like me making almost 2,300%. And you're like, it's down 40%. Like, yeah, I mean, it ain't nothing to me. Because when I entered, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but for
that's just a swing. That's not a big deal. It's just a swing.
Exactly. That's not bad at all. But as far as the AI goes, I don't want to go ham on that. I believe that at the end of the day, as much as somebody might say it's a bubble, I would say that I'll compromise and say that a correction could be due. But as far as the upside and the massive amounts of money that we see coming and inflowing, there's nothing like the .com bubble. So people who do that, they're just storytelling instead of business telling. Let's talk about the business modules more so than the story. And so when you really look at that, revenue is crazy. These companies, just even the Mag 7, right, is at 2 trillion revenue. That's wild. And they're clearing 500 billion net income on an annual basis. Just so people can understand, the 10 best companies back then in the 2000s was only making 50 billion net income amongst the 10 top companies. 7 top companies today is making 500 billion. So it's a very different paradigm. And I could justify AI and AI computing required with the current business models, without robo-taxis, without humanoid robots and all that other nonsense. But people get OpenAI and Anthropic twisted for companies like Google, Microsoft, and Meta, which currently they can actually use that AI computing power in their current business models with system recommenders. That's the thing that recommends you to watch YouTube videos like this, to get good content creators like DL Saint. If it wasn't for those good recommender systems, you'd be looking at nonsense. And so it wouldn't be relevant. So that's where the computing power is already justified, and the AI spend is already justified just based off of that. Anything else like robots and humans, that's a potential upside, but you don't need it to justify the spend right now, right here. But OpenAI, that's a mess. That's a hot mess. It's just called a bad investment.
Man, next time I talk to you brothers, I'm not gonna be tipsy because this is one of my lit saint episodes when I sip on a little something and I just act a fool and I'm sitting here like, damn, we about to get smart. I'm already tipsy. Brother Ronan, what's your take on it, man? Because I'm kind of listening to the people who are like the AI thing is a bubble, but I like what Brother Financial said. It's not like the .com crash, but it's due for correction. And I'm like, damn, okay. So what's your take?
When I first got in the Marine Corps, I was in technology. I was in technology sales. I did network infrastructure. Okay, because when I came out of the Marine Corps, I was trained in technology like that. So, I watched the network grow from the original story for iPhone. The iPhone was owned by Cisco Systems, and it was meant for IP phone, meaning voice over IP, which is normal now. But back then it was a big deal. But Apple wanted the phone because they had everything iMac, all this stuff. So they wanted iPhone, and they had to buy that name from Cisco Systems through network infrastructure. But I've watched the technology grow, and all I've seen is just increase. Now, when you talked about these .coms were trying to get in just on the internet with a business idea. Like network infrastructure, computers are here. They're never going to go away. They make people's lives easier. They do a lot of computations. They keep memories for us. They do a lot of things for us now. That's not going to go away. We've seen everything from cartoons to different movies about, especially sci-fi movies, about the technology growing. Back in the day, the watch phones and all these things that are now coming to fruition. I think some of these movie guys had the idea that they knew this was coming, so AI is just a part of that. So at the end of the day, all AI is going to do is continue to enhance and help people. And now businessmen are behind it 100%. I mean, a lot of guys are making a shit ton of money because AI agents are doing their work while they're sleeping. That's what I'm learning right now. I'm literally got my AI doing more stuff for me while I'm asleep, so that when I get up, I can go ahead and piece together a AI clip or a movie that I'm working on or a video. I can have it go out and do all the research I need for the next podcast I'm going to do. I was just showing Financial Frontier. They now have AIs to go out and search the market and look for different drops and read whether it's going to be a good investment to go ahead and make that trade. He has an AI app that compiles information as well. It's only going to make your life easier. And I don't know any human being on this planet does not like convenience. So it's not a bubble.
Well, it's right now the way the market is. I can see the bubble, but I agree with your point there. I mean, maybe not all of them will make it, but I know Anthropic is going to wind up close to the top. I mean, just because of their military tech alone. I know they're bumping heads with the government, but kind of like you said, when you came out of the Corps way back when, you had a head start on the technology because you was dealing with it, working with it. There's a guy, Valhalla VFT. I don't know if you guys watch him. Content creator, SF guy, former MAGA guy, but he's like anti-Trump now because he's a real American. This dude is like, what's going on? But he was talking about Anthropic because that's what he was working with in Afghanistan. And he was like, yo, I know this is fire. So he was saying that one of the first things he did when he got home was, he bought a bunch of shares. He made some money, but then when Ukraine, Russia broke out, he sold his shares because, he was conflicted about the war and what they were doing. And I want to say it was Anthropic Tech that might have led to the Tomahawk that hit the school on day one of the Iran thing. But what they were saying is the humans got lazy and didn't do the follow-up work. So they were trying to blame AI, but AI was like, no, we put out the packaging. Y'all didn't approve it. You're supposed to still put human eyes on it.
User error every time. It's never sometimes the computer. It's a line of code that's wrong. And I started programming with COBOL.
Oh, okay.
So I've been around technology that long.
Wow.
I would also
Yeah.
okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, brother.
No, I would also add that a lot of conversations talk about a bubble. When you look at the PE ratios, the Mag 7 is extremely low than it has been historically. And so the price to earnings is really low in comparison to the averages. And so a lot of people are already kind of spooked out. But of course, the revenue continues to improve. The margins continue to improve. And not only just at the layer of hyperscalers and infrastructure plays, but also application layers. Like Facebook was one of the first companies to show real return on investment for their CapEx spend in AI. It's pretty simple, but most people just don't understand the actual computer systems that they use now today. They don't understand how Instagram works. They don't understand how Facebook works. And so it almost sounds crazy that these asset-light companies like Google, Facebook, and Meta, etc., have been making so much money. I mean, I'm talking 120 billion in 1 year net income. That has never been done in human history. This is how these companies are performing, and that has nothing to do with AI. That's straight from advertising, YouTube, and etc., right? Especially Google Cloud services. That's data center capacity. That grew up exponentially. And so at the end of it is proven with the current economics that currently with AI added. Now remember, they had a GPU, and the GPU could only retrieve information. That's what they did before. Now they have a better system where it can retrieve, it could generate information also, which was something that computer systems could not do before. And so now you have generative computing power, plus you still have the storage capacity that adds value to a computing company that uses computing power. And so it sounds ridiculous, but again, most people don't know the business behind the stock. Most people don't understand the business behind the market. All they see is prices, index, and candlesticks. And so when you deal with candlesticks and stories, well, you don't get to see the business. So
Yeah,
we'll see. Look, that doesn't make me God.
I had to drop the Don DeMarco, man, because I'm just proud in this moment right now because I'm having a really good conversation with brothers that look like me, brothers my age, brothers that serve like me, and brothers who are retired like me. I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much, man. Right. We're not screaming. We're not yelling. We're not calling each other's names. We don't even agree 100%, but we got a lot of overlap and we're learning. But I'm glad, and Brother Financial, I'm glad you brought up data centers. What's going on with that? I mean, will the bottom 99, will the average American be able to block and stop, the 1% in corporations from building the necessary data centers that are needed to continue and ensure this growth continues? Or what's going to happen there?
Vernon, you can kick it off. No, I was yapping for a minute, so I wanted to pass the rock.
No, data centers for me, technology-wise, I've always been around redundant systems. Even in the military, 1 is none, 2 is 1. Right?
Yeah.
And I came out of California. Right. I came out of California where, they were having earthquakes, fires, all this other stuff, right? So I started suggesting doing that for network servers and certain companies. ESRI comes to mind. They're a huge mapping organization. Pretty much if there's a map anywhere globally, ESRI is the one that makes it. And they're out of Redlands, California. And other people pick up their technology and use it. But we were building offsite server systems so that if the power went down, if there was a natural disaster there in California, somewhere in Arizona, the server farm would kick on and everything synced up so they lose no time. No time. And then there were already server farms where people were already storing data back in the 2000s, like 2010. People are already looking at storage data sites, and they were just building sites where it just held data. Then with the advent of what you have, your blockchain and your Bitcoin and everything else, that's when it really kicked off that they wanted to have redundant systems in order to verify transactions through the blockchain. And these servers were all over the world. And that's why transactions take so long on Bitcoin, is because it has to be verified by at least 5 to 7 different server farms. And that takes a while. So the transaction doesn't go through like that. When you do a Bitcoin sale, it takes a minute. to have everything verified through all those different server farms based on your Bitcoin code or your digital ID. Okay, so having those systems in place is important. The thing is the power requirement to keep it cool. So really what you need to look at is the power requirements that take, and China right now has these submarine server farms now that they, and actually, I think it was Microsoft that started it, but China literally picked up their technology and kept it going. And now they're dropping server farms under the ocean where the cooling is provided based on it being like 40, so many feet down under the ground or in the ocean where it keeps it cool on a consistent basis. So all they're doing is running cooling off of the surface of the container that the server farm is in. And they've noticed that maintenance gone down a lot. The cost of it is, and then they have what they call solar panels up on top of the subsurface server farm, and it's solar powered from wind power and solar power. So even power is not an issue anymore. So I think they will work those things out, you know, and China's ahead of it.
Before Brother Financial goes, and I definitely want to hear his take on this. I think the problem in America is, like, especially when you look out west, we already have a drought situation. So you're going to build a data farm, a data center out there, and then you're going to have to take X amount of water, which is already in limited supply, to cool your center.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a huge problem, especially for the people who don't have access to water anymore, and the water that they have is getting tainted. But Brother Financial, let me know what you think about that.
Yeah, I mean, the normies is always going to complain and cry. Ain't nothing new. We go back to history. It was railroads. They were mad at railroads. Back then, they were mad at cars. And when actually Uber came out, taxi drivers were blowing things up and burning things in the name of keeping their job. When cotton mills came out and cotton machines. So every time technology has landed, especially in the shores of America, mostly technology is adopted in places like China and Asia because they understand the real gap and add value that it adds. But for America, we're always very skeptical. And so we always are going to have that. But I think the companies are pushing forward when we're talking about LEO or orbital compute. We're talking about data centers in space. So that's an actual way to mitigate terrestrial data centers. Data centers, they take up water, people say. But you know what? Guess what does take up more water? Golf course. Nobody's trying to ban the golf courses. They consume way more water. Almond farms consume so much water. It's not as much as data centers. So I think companies will continue to go to the places that welcome them with open doors, and they just need to do a better job also talking to people. But the upside, I mean, come on, a tradesman that probably could be a welder or civil engineer and etc. The amount of money that they make on a data center or AI factory versus construction is ridiculous. These guys are getting paid $300,000, $400,000 on an AI center. So this is the add value for you guys who are actually blue collar workers. Like, you're going to be making real loot, a lot of money. So this is just basically the time to build out the new infrastructure, the new railroad infrastructure. So you have it in better terms and better conditions than you ever had it. And shout outs to the guy who was working at SpaceX. He was a welder, became a multimillionaire because not only did he get paid a good salary, but he also got equity from the company. So again, there's nothing but upside, but people are always going to sell you doom and gloom because that's their business model. And I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I stay focused on that bottom line, not the headlines.
I'm with you on that, man. And what you're saying about the trades, guys, for anyone out there who's a veteran, there's a program out there called Helmets to Hard Hats. I suggest y'all look into it. It's an outstanding program. It gets you into the trades. It gets you into the trades ASAP. You can just Google Helmets to Hard Hats. If you have any questions, hit me up on Instagram. I really want to know podcast. Yeah, it's a really good program. And you ain't lying about the money. Like to build out a stadium, It's Helmets to Hard Hats. You will join this program, and you take the test to be an electrician. You automatically get into the electricians guild, like the union, and you're doing union work, and you're going out here making, like you said. I mean, you working your ass off now. You busting your ass for that $300,000, but you're getting that 300, right? Yeah, You getting that 300,000 within 18 months or however long it takes to finish that, and it's international work as well. It's basically union work. I'm retired union. That's one I think that's a mistake that Americans have made. It just to try to do away with unions or think unions are bad. Unions really help you out.
No,
it's a
that's
reason
the corporations. I can go into that. That's the corporations getting rid of unions. They trying to get you out of the
we're gonna save that one though. Yeah, we're gonna save that one.
Yeah, they want that pension money back. That's what they want.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. They want the pension money, and they want to they want to control labor costs. But hey, like I said, and Brother Ron, we're gonna talk about that when we do that one-on-one show for sure. Okay. But and the same thing with Final Frontiers. Yeah. I already know what it is, bro. So you guys, or where you guys are you keeping up with what's going on with the American real estate situation and what's going on with the economy over here? Or you just like, fuck it, I ain't over there, I ain't worried about it?
That's more his question, that ain't me. I'm gonna be looking at his little hack program by the time I get back. I'm gonna be back in about 2.5 years, maybe.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, get that hack going, man.
Yeah, I'm going back to Texas and I'm buying land there and building there. So I'm going to use his hack and show everybody the shit works. All these years he's been talking, I'm going to show him it works because I'm going to do exactly what he tells me to do.
And you're going to build it too. That's going to be mad equity in your pocket when you're done with it. So
brother, financial.
Go ahead.
Well, let's get into it, brother. I want to ask you about that because I'm in Central Florida. Down here in Florida, the condo market has been obliterated, right? It started with a collapse in Surfside in Miami. It was a condo collapse down there. I think like 90 something people were lost in that tragedy. And then the city found out, and the state found out that the reason the building fell down because the association wasn't keeping up with what they were supposed to be doing, keeping up with the maintenance. Yeah. So they came out with a whole bunch of laws forcing these older buildings, especially to make these repairs. So once that happened, they looked at they made new rules. This is what your association has to do. It has to have this much money on hand, cash reserves, and we gotta do all of these inspections. We gotta fix anything wrong with your building. And when that happens, these assessments went out. So could you imagine you're a retiree, you're living down in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, something like that. You're living in Fort Myers, Tampa, and you're in your condo, and then they slide a bill up under your door. And you got to pay $86,000, $140,000, and they got to have that money in 90 days. That's everyone's, cut of the bill. That's what's going on with the condo market here. And we got a problem with hurricanes down here, right? There's a tropical storm building right off the coast of Tampa right now as we speak, and a lot of people who own their properties down here, a lot of retirees, they can't afford the insurance, so they're self-insuring. So I'm saying all this to kind of paint the picture, and I want to hear what Brother Financial has to say. I believe that the problems in the condo market is going to seep into the single-family homes, and it's going to break the back of the insurance business down here, which is going to in turn break the back of the state. Ron DeSantis doesn't have a plan for this. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think the American the American real estate business industry is in trouble right now?
Nah, it'd be all right.
Sound like the critical drinker. Nah, it'll be fine.
Nah, it'll be all right.
Leave it alone for a minute. It'll be all right.
No. Let me hit y'all with some facts, right? Because a lot of times I deal for shout outs to being a fanboy of Elon. I deal with first principle. And so I always challenge every assumption, not to say that it's wrong, just to figure out what's going on. Why did somebody say that? When you really look at the housing market, what y'all call a crash, it was actually a bump. Like out of all the American housing supply, it was only like 8% of the housing supply that was underwater and foreclosed and etc. Majority of American housing market was okay during the housing crash. The majority.
You talking about 08? You talking about 08?
Yes, I'm talking about 08. The thing that we dramatize. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the majority of the loans came from average people. It didn't come from Wall Street and it didn't come from bankers. It was mortgage officers and loan officers getting bonus commissions, whether they were freelance or underneath a mortgage company. They all was just running schemes. Some of them went to jail. A lot of them went to jail behind that nonsense. So they created the subprime mortgage. It wasn't Wall
that was
Street,
a big problem.
big banks, they were probably like 10% of the problem, but 90% of the problem was just mortgage officers saying idiot, and they was getting paid all their commissions. So often what we think is a big bank problem or a big national problem, it's not really what the news, again, the news got one job. I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying that's their job. They're there to sell news. They're not there to make sure you get equity in your house. They never said that. They're not a financial advisor. They're not there to make sure you make money in the stock market. They're there to sell news. And so when I look back, let me go back. Let me go back to you were going to Florida and everything like this. Shout outs to Florida.
I'll talk about it next. I'll do it next.
Guys in Florida, y'all got to really know. I was in Florida looking for a condo. And then I was like, okay, because I was smart, I knew I had to look inside the condominiation and association to make sure they had the appropriate reserve funds. And it was so bad that the VA had a list out, and they only approved certain condominiums to be on the list because they looked for that. So I was being rejected by people. They were like, oh, you got a VA loan? No, get a regular loan. I was like, no, I'm not, because I know the VA is trying to protect me and ensure that you have what you need in order for it to be a good, stabilized property. But most people don't know this. A lot of property in Miami, in Florida, is coming from dark money from Latin America. A lot of it's drug money. There was a lot of developments moving. Like y'all market got crashed when Brazilian president, I think his name was Lula, he changed the rules and made all rich Brazilians announce all assets across the world. And then it was like really, like there was a condo for $1 million. And then it went down to $200,000 when that initiative happened down in Brazil, because all of them was trying to pull their money out and trying to move their money into different pieces. So the market's very complex there. But what I would say, and what I say to people is never mind the news. Get yourself a house hack. Housing is massive amounts of affordable. You have the ability to do a house hack. There's down payment programs. I could go on Zillow right now and show you not only how to not spend your own money, but make money. Digital Nomad is a guy who comes on my show often. He got himself a duplex. He doesn't pay for rent anymore. He lives free because his renter pays. And he got paid $1,000 to buy his house. So in a time when most people are telling you houses are not affordable, he got a house profitably. There's a difference between knowing what you're doing and just doing things reckless. And you're always going to make a mistake when you get a condo anyways. I think that's like one of the worst things you can get inside of real estate is a condo. Yeah. So you just have to know how to move, but I don't think the whole market is crashed because of that. It'll be all right. The 2008 was all right.
I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna hand it off to Brother Ronan. First of all, Brother Alpha, the first one is right. Brickell was built on that D money, bro. Brickell was built on that powder. It's crazy right now, but you're right. Florida's always been loose, and people were playing loose by the game. It was musical chairs. The music about to stop. There ain't enough chairs for everybody to sit down. It is what it is. And when you buy a condo, you're really buying a box inside of a box. So if your big box falls down, right? Your big box falls down. What they gonna do? They gonna give you a little square of dirt. Everybody gonna what? They gonna cut the dirt up so everybody, because you ain't you don't own shit. You know what I mean? But we're definitely looking at an issue. Well, here in Florida for the longest was leading the country in foreclosures, but now I think it's Illinois is leading the country in foreclosures. Bankers are taking these houses back. It's starting to spread. The Sun Belt is starting to get hit. Anywhere where there's natural disasters, California, the Gulf Coast, like Texas.
Sound like the real estate is going to be prime for me to buy in about 2 years. Shit,
100%. 100%. The blood is going to be in the streets. There are going to be some major deals. But we got to see how this is going to work. Is there going to be some sort of bailout? I don't know. But Brother Ronan, what's your take on this?
My take is from an architectural background. I like that was my major before I dropped out, went in the military. I look at structural situations in a building, and if I got a HOA, I got to pay like Financial was saying, where they don't have enough reserve to keep the upkeep and the maintenance of but they're collecting HOA. So why are they not going back through and rechecking the structural? You got salt air running around out there. You got the high winds. You got the hurricanes. You got constant barrages going on to those buildings, especially the ones sitting right there on the beachfront, right? But you're not going back and checking those to where the sand and the cement, maybe the right, not 100% the right admixture. When they went to harden, they rushed the job to get it built faster so they can fill to capacity because the agents wanted to fill it and get it done and move on to the next. So many moving parts. And that's why even with the VA loans, they have to verify that those things are in place. And that's a good protection. But even if you don't have that ability to get VA loans, you really have to pay attention to your real estate appraiser when they go to look at properties. People a couple years ago were paying $200,000, $300,000 over asking just to get in a house. Ain't nothing that goddamn important. And well, I'm afraid of HOAs. I'll tell you that in a heartbeat. I'm afraid of HOAs. I don't want to be in any area where there's an HOA still added. If it ain't already built, I don't need to be in there. I'll go and find a place and knock it down and rebuild it before I get into a HOA and have somebody try to control my life after I go and buy land.
Brother Ronnie,
go ahead.
What you need to do, brother, you need to go. You can do it on YouTube if you want. Just type in Aston Martin building, and everything you said. It sounds like you watched this video on what's going on with the Aston Martin video on Aston Martin building and started talking about it. Because this is in Brickell. This is this is downtown Brickell, right on the river, right across the street from the Icon. Right across the waterway from the Icon. Bro, one of the most expensive builds yet in Miami. One of the most expensive.
Probably rush job trying to get it done.
When you watch the video,
building materials, all that. China's famous for it all over the globe. That's why so many buildings fall down that you see on different international news medias. China is very famous for winning bids and then using subpar building materials. I'm a big guy when it comes to building materials and how quickly things get built. I tell this story all the time. I was going to buy a house in Rancho Cucamonga. Before it became a big deal, right?
Yeah, okay.
Before Day and them. Before Day
and them.
Yeah, but Day that's the only reason I know that place.
So when I went to go buy, they were like, "Yeah, this is the first phase, and it's only $185,000." That even sounds crazy to say it now. $185,000 for a house in Rancho Cucamonga. But so they were saying $185,000. I said, "Cool, let's get it." And then I went through and did the walkthrough, and I was having certain parts of the house modified, and they were doing it. You know, we get to the final paperwork, and the financial person was sitting there going through the paperwork and say, "You're lucky." Why'd you have to say that? I put my pen down and said, "Explain to me, how am I lucky?" She goes, "Well, we built in equity." Excuse me? How'd you build in equity? Well, you're paying $185,000. Your very same house, by the time we get to the sixth phase, is going to be evaluated at $310,000. I'm like, what? How's that working? Well, what we do is we raise the price every phase. I said, well, are you changing the building materials? Are you changing from wood I-beams to steel I-beams? Are you changing from wood countertops to standard ground and granite? What are you doing? Oh, we just raised the price. I said, and the appraisers are approving this shit? They said, yeah. I said, hell to the no, I don't want your house. And I didn't sign. Even though I had walked through and did all the pics of the features and all, I said, hell no, I already know. And that was way before the market took a crash. And I could tell then people were financing houses that were over-evaluated because the appraisers and the contractor or whoever was setting up the project had an agreement. We can charge whatever we want. You're not going to go back in and reevaluate for actual cost of, location first and cost of materials and time and effort. You're not doing any of that no more. You're just taking whatever the person that's building the project word for it and letting them run it up. I knew it was going to crash.
They were using their own. They were using their own development for comps, where they should have been using some external. But I can see how they could push that though. I can see how that kind of was allowed to slide. Though,
because everybody's getting paid. Everybody's getting paid. Taxation wise, everybody, even the city. Because if you got higher valuation, guess what you get to do? You get to charge more on the taxation.
And yeah, and for new
should've-
developments, they usually have a higher tax assessment on them. So that
Wait,
was
so
dope
here's
for
the
city.
deal. Some people used to buy the first phase house and flip it to the person
Yeah,
by the
flip it.
time they got to the fifth to the
Yeah.
seventh because they know they had built-in equity. They would just hold the house.
which is what
Yeah,
you should have
okay.
done. Okay, here's the thing. I had a buddy of
didn't want
mine.
to play those games. I didn't want to play those games, man.
Yeah,
I
A
just don't
buddy
like
of-
You didn't want to play those
unethical.
reindeer games.
I don't like to play unethical games with people, and I like I said, I wouldn't sell stock because it's unethical. I'm not going to profit from doing something unethical. It just was against my morals.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. Same thing happened in Marina Del Rey. They had this subdivision, Playa Vista. And a buddy of mine bought in Playa Vista, like the first phase. He bought like a 2-2 condo. It was like just under 1,000 square feet, I believe, like 850, 950, something like that. Then he bought a townhome. It was 2.5 townhome, maybe. God, how big was that? I want to say it was 1,700 square feet, maybe. Right, pretty nice size for a condo, a townhouse, especially. We're talking LA. We're talking. This is you can see the
Right.
water. We weren't on the beach, but you could see the water, right? Right over there in Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey is beautiful.
Right. So this was Playa Vista, the subdivision that they gave his own zip code, his own everything. So he got in there the first 2 phases. He got in there, bro. And it was like, so he went in and he was looking at, you talk about built-in equity. Bro, it was so many people hitting him up trying to get
Trying
his
to buy
condo,
that house. Yeah.
trying to
That
buy
being
the
pretty
townhouse.
great.
When he wound up selling, he made really good profits. And he sold after 08 on a townhouse, still did really well. So he bought in for, I don't know, 700, and he wound up selling that thing for like 1.2.
Yeah.
Mind you, like neighbors were like playing for the Clippers, you know what I mean? Yeah, celebrities. So and this was shit, man. This was back in 2015, something like that. So
What's the name
He
of that
did
restaurant
really
that's
well.
right there in the harbor area of Marina Del Rey that everybody goes to? So you can sit outside or inside. I forget, it's a famous place that you can go to eat. I used to go there all the time with my family that's in LA. But
In Marina
I know
Del
it's
Rey?
in Marina Del Rey. Yeah. It's like
They
a
don't have
restaurant
any-
where there's like a outcrop, like a little area where it looks like there's boats in the horizon, but there's a little like a lake area in between a whole bunch of condos. And then there's an outdoor like restaurant, half outdoor, half indoor. I forget what it's called.
Well, you had Cheesecake Factory down there that had a setup like that, and then you had
Maybe that-
yeah, because that was like down like right in the heart of Marina Del Rey, like right. Yeah, I mean it's kind of set up like that.
Maybe
they
that
were there
was
for
what
a
it
long
was.
time.
It was just a nice location. I don't know if it was Cheesecake Factory or something else, but it was
And on
very
the other
nice
side, you had
location.
another chain one. Yeah, there was a Mexican chain on the other side. They had the same thing where you can actually sit there.
But
and
they had
watch the
great.
boats
They
go
had a
by.
great location. I know they were making money hand over foot, especially right there.
Yeah.
Between
And then there was
those
a
condos?
between the two, there was a Ritz-Carlton down there, which had their own restaurant, but it wasn't on the water like that. Of course, it was inside the Ritz. But that would have been like the RC Farsi joint. But nah, man, like I was in Marina Del Rey for a minute, man. Like I couldn't wait to get out of California, man. Too crazy. Sinkholes,
Yeah.
fires, earthquakes.
That's-
I couldn't wait to get out
That
of
was
there.
my recommendation to a lot of my clients, and they took my recommendation. Sell your house you have here, go down south, buy the equivalent house for maybe a quarter of the price, bag the rest, do some mini investments, and travel. A lot of them did that. Some of them went so far as to go to Chihuahua, Mexico, and built a house down there. And lived off the interest and all these other things that they're doing with their investment. So, a lot of my clients were in California, and a lot of them aren't in California anymore. They took the advice. They sold the house because, I mean, you got a 7-bedroom house. It's worth $2, $4, $5 million. You built it as an investment, but now you're saying you're going to hold on to it because your kids ain't coming home. Let's get real. Your kids ain't never coming home. All of them ain't going to come home at the same time, at least. One might come home at one time. One might come home at a different. Why are you keeping a 5-bedroom house for you and your wife? Just to say you have it?
Yeah, partly that, but that fire in Pacific Palisades really rocked that market out there. While people are forced to sell their lots because they don't have enough money to rebuild. They got to rebuild So they're rich, their wealthy neighbors are buying their, the neighbor lot next door that burned down.
Yeah, and building out.
Yeah. So Pacific Palisades is gonna be like stupid money now. You know what I mean? Like it was right next to Malibu anyway. But go ahead, brother. Financial.
Yeah, no, I was also saying like I love to look at both sides of the story. So if it is the case that, insurance is going up, which it is in places like Florida, you also got to look, man, people are wild. Since I'm on your channel, I keep it light. People are wild. Like I often look at deals and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is in a high flood zone. Who the heck buys
Right.
this stuff? People legitimately buy homes that's in flood zones, hurricane, tornado alley. I never did it. I don't care
But
how
those
much
are
I liked
lazy
it.
people
I
that
don't
aren't
care.
doing their
No,
research
no, no.
too, if you
Those
think about it.
those are just most people. Don't you
Just trying to
like?
get
I
a
don't
good
even want to
deal.
say it like that because most people are gonna. It's not the deal. Don't change. Most people don't give you no discount because they in a hurricane or flood zone. They be
But
trying to
in their
charge the
mind, they
same
think they're
price as
getting
the
a good
next
deal.
person.
They think they're getting a good
They
deal.
don't
Everybody's
look.
like, I gotta buy it. No, they don't.
Nobody looks. And then wait, hold
They
on. I'm
don't
not
look.
really saying
Yeah,
nothing
that's
about
the
people
point.
from long past ago because it's probably like hard to look it up. But now with the internet, that stuff is easy. It's on Zillow.
You can look
It'll
at
tell you where
elevation
you're
chart,
at.
flood zones. You can look
You
at a
can
whole
look at
bunch of stuff
all of
and
it,
know that
right?
you're not going to get no
Topography.
insurance when you buy that house now because of where it's located at, how much
Well, they'll
higher the
charge you.
premium is going to be on the home. If you
It's
do
in the
get the
Zillow
house,
listing.
I mean, so many different things.
It's on the
So
Zillow
people
listing.
do it, and then they mad at the insurance company. I just think that's stupid.
I don't know
And of
about
course, that's
Zillow.
an easy
Financial
lick.
does. If he uses Zillow, he said, does insurance rates and stuff like that show up for the house
Yeah, but it's projected, so
per
you really
house?
just got to call. Yeah, it's projected, but you still got to
Mhm.
call and set up your own situation because each person is different, and their portfolio is going to give them a different rate. But yeah, like that's there, but people still do it with straight faces. They know they're in a zone. They just do what they do. And so a
Right.
lot of people just got it coming to them. Like, the responsibilities and the risks. And if you don't know, being ignorant is not an excuse, especially as a full functional adult. Like, I'll say this, watch this. Shout outs to the person I talked about that kind of like, did the house hack. But I know dudes who did the house hack, did all that smart stuff. And I asked them, I said, hey, did you read your actual sales contract? Your
No.
sales agreement? He was like, no. People will sign, and it's only like 20 pages. It's not really that deep, but they'll sign for the largest investment in their whole entire life. And I would say
And don't know
90%
the
of people
goal.
don't read the whole document.
Mm-mm.
That's the
No.
reality of what people do. So when we on
Yeah.
here caping like, what about the people in the market? And what about this? They the same people who ain't do the due diligence and ain't do the work. And me as a
Well,
black
yeah.
male, if I didn't do the work anything in my life, nobody's got no damn sympathy for me besides a
And
liberal.
here's the big
But
thing, Dio. The big thing is on the insurance tip, right? Insurance companies don't want to leverage anything over the evaluation of the house. So you don't think the insurance company sends out a private evaluator or a real estate appraiser on the property before they insure it. They go and look at the schematics and they look at the landscape and they tell you, here's the risk factor, and this is why I'm prorating it to this. That's not a warning sign to you to say, fuck no, I'm buying this house if the insurance premium is going to be that high. People are still going to sign in and say, yeah, I'll pay that. No.
But Ronnie, you're going on the premise that these people are thinking, first of all. Secondly, here in
Why
Florida,
are you
I'm only
making a major decision like that not thinking? This is what me and Financial are saying. You don't make decisions like this without having somebody to advise you, but people don't want to pay for the advice.
well, they'll sit in there. That's why I paid a realtor, and the realtor told me what the initial. Like, but you didn't read it. But here's my point, though. Here's my point. Here in Florida, the insurance situation, like, bro,
Mhm.
I'd rather be in business with the mob. It's a syndicate down here, and what they're doing, the insurance people backed by the state will go in with your home. Let's say you make a claim. There's a guy who this was in I want to say it was in St. Pete. This guy's house was hit by one of the few storms we had like since I've been here. It was like the last storm, I think it was. I forget the name of it, Ian or one of those storms. It ripped his roof off the house. His neighbor's ring cam got footage of the storm ripping the roof off the house. The appraiser came and says, yes, you're going to get money for that. Yes, this was storm damage. Yes. He's a contractor. He submits the information to the insurance company. The insurance company changed his estimate. They changed his paperwork without even telling him. And they told the homeowner the roof was not an act of God. It was your fault. So we're not going to pay for the roof. And this guy is stuck here. And the state was backing the insurance company. They had to go to the media to get the state to act. And I'm only saying this to say that Florida is loose with all that shit, bro.
It's funny that we're having this conversation. I was just watching a video. I get bored sometimes. I watch stupid shit. I was watching a video on Louisiana towns that were dying out and how you can buy a house in Louisiana for $10K or $30K or something stupid that's sizable, but because it was in a flood zone or because they had loggers in that certain area, or there were oil fields that dried up in that area, those towns have died. So you literally have land just sitting there and nobody's buying it. It's just sitting there. So I just wanted to look at it. And it was like, insurance company, and I used to be in insurance business. Insurance companies will starve you out versus paying you. They will pay their lawyers to fight you in court until you just give up because you don't have the finances to have an attorney represent you to fight the case. They will literally starve you out versus paying you.
Yeah.
Just like they'll change paperwork, to their advantage. And then they'll tell you, you go back and prove that he wrote the other way. That's why you have to have private insurance evaluators. You have to have privately hired or third-party independent evaluator for the property and what the damage was. That ring camera film should have been something. But again, you're going to go to court. You're going to have to fight it out. And they're going to starve you out versus pay you. And by then, you're going to default on your home loan. You're going to default on having it rebuilt, so you're not living in that house. You're paying a mortgage and you're living somewhere else. They already know these things. They're just going to run you down until you get exhausted because you have no help.
That's exactly what happened. This guy had to go to the media. The media got involved. And got elected officials involved, which got state officials involved. So this guy was able to at least get a little bit of help before the clock ran out. But that's just Florida. Right. And the thing in Louisiana, I saw it was Louisiana, Georgia, and Mississippi, same thing. And they had to get elected officials involved. And some of that stuff goes all the way to Congress. You have these hearings and stuff like that.
Now, I want to add this. All right. Let me add the 99% that it doesn't happen. 99% of insurance claims don't have that story. So it's going to happen. There's no such thing as a perfect system. So I always see it like we storytellers, we tell stories, and then it's like a bum that's broke and he didn't plan for anything, and then we're always sobbing and we got to hear that. But for the 90%, insurance companies are filling out claims, helping people across the board. If it's a 90% that they're fraudulent, then y'all the problem because y'all with them. I don't know why y'all allow it. But some cases, it's a big organization. But hey, guess what? Everything y'all saying, if it's so true, what I say to the people is open up your own insurance company that don't have those problems because you're so ethical and you can fix everything.
Right.
You'll make a killing.
The insurance companies moved out. Yeah, the insurance companies moved out. It's uninsured, but
they just don't cover. Yeah,
because goddamn, how do I insure just a bunch of people who said they want to move their flood zone? Like, god dang, like there's some cooperation on both sides.
I agree with you. There's some idiocy. There's some idiocy when they say this is not a good area. That's why I said if an insurance company comes out and evaluates your property before you buy it and say, hey, your premium is going to be super high because of these reasons. If you're willing to pay it, go ahead and buy it. You stupid ass motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Excuse my French, but I'm just saying you guys gotta be
French
aware.
Marine. That ain't French Marine. I know French.
But watch.
All I'm saying is, God damn. I mean, if he's sitting there telling you something, don't ignore it because you just excited to sign some paperwork. That's what I get a lot is people willing to sign paperwork and don't realize what they're mind. Matter of fact, we in insurance, we have to do errors and omissions. Just because if we don't tell them what's actually in the contract before they sign it, not that they can't read it themselves, we have to reiterate key points in a contract now before they sign it so they understand the terms and conditions of the contract. Or we can be sued because we left something out and they think you deceived them in some way. But it's still you're responsible as a grown-ass adult to read a contract and understand it before you sign it.
And I would
don't
say
blame the insurance company.
And I would say also read your realtor's contract because the realtor contract say that they're not held liable for anything that's related to property inspection, engineering, zoning, none of that. So I don't want to hear the realtor told me. Read your paperwork. It say that anything the realtor say they cannot be held liable because they're none of that stuff that you think they are. Which it comes to he said the permits were good. Read your exclusivity
they in
contract.
sales competitions. What you think? They trying to turn over so many houses a month.
The real estate is or isn't. They give you a contract that say clear as day. in black and white. Y'all sound like, people start sounding like celebrities. What is it called? The guys who be rapping. Like you read the contract. Like you signed it. So I hold you responsibility 50-50. So as much as we say the realtor's doing this, I hold you responsible just with the realtor. But again, most people buy houses and they're okay.
I ain't mad at you. I will say this, right? I don't care if you're a first-time buyer. If you guys are out here, you're young, you're a first-time buyer. You heard what Brother Financial said. Read the paperwork. Works the same way if you get locked up, if you're dealing with the court system, read your paperwork because everybody else is. Read your paperwork and understand what you're signing. And if you got any questions, why you signing the paper. So, I mean, I agree with you there. You know what I mean? I got to agree with you there. So I want to shift gears here. I want to shift gears because, like I said, I'm trying to save a lot from when we do the individual shows. I'm already visiting those shows, man. Those shows are going to be fire, man. Going to be fire. So I want to ask you this. I Googled the other day, and I do car videos while I'm in the car driving somewhere. I turn on the video. I start talking about shit. I did a car video today talking about the American economy. And I did a quick Google search or whatever. And I was kind of surprised that 20% of U.S. spending, 20% of the highest earners in America, the top 20% of earners in America are responsible for 60% of spending in our economy, right? So the top 20% of earners right now in America are responsible for 60% of the spending, which shocked me because last time I looked at it, it was 50%, right? So they're responsible for 60% of the spending. And then I asked Google, said, well, if those people were cut back on their spending by say 30%, what happens to the American economy? Brother Financial, I'll put that question to you. If the top 20% who's responsible for 60% of spending in America cuts back their spending by 30%, what happens in America?
I don't know. I mean, like, it's a hypothetical. So, I'm not Houdini.
Ain't no damn, you just don't want to say.
No.
You're some bullshit.
No, I'm not. And plus,
Brother Ronan,
go ahead, Ronan. Go ahead, Ronan.
No,
you got it.
Finish your statement real quick. I need you to finish that while I'm thinking.
Because I gotta accept the statement, and then I gotta accept that it happens. So it's just like I don't want to use any tokens. Just going on a hypothetical. Meaning tokens, my brain AI. I don't want to use brain AI on that because if it happens, I'm invested in stocks, and at the end of the day, the companies are going to be okay. And they're going to shift it. They're going to shift. They're going to pivot. They're going to do what's necessary. There's going to be stimulus. There's always some type of precaution so we don't make sure that the economy fails. It'll be some downside, but I just always see that as a discount. So I'm going to go buy some of the best companies during that time. That's what I'll do.
All right, Brother Ronan.
First of all, what's stimulating this 30% drop in purchasing?
What's stimulating? I don't know. The war, the increase, oil going from $82 a barrel to over $150, maybe $200 a barrel. The war in Ukraine, America's running out of munitions. Another like a big hurricane or a nasty earthquake. It's a whole bunch of things that can hit us, right?
I mean, things are happening right now, I guess, in the United States because I'm not there. So I don't feel it as much as I hear about it on the news occasionally. I can tell you both me and Financial, we don't check U.S. news. I might hear from a family member or something. Hey, did you know this was going? No, I don't look at the news like that. I don't even have that wherewithal to even want to look at the news like that. You know what I mean? At this point, it's like if it's not something major, I don't know about it. And half the time, even when we have subjects for our podcast, I literally have to look it up a week before and prep on what's been going on over a period of time because I'm not experiencing it. It's out of sight, out of mind. That's a one big peaceful thing about being overseas. You're not concerned with the day-to-day bullshit that's going on in America.
Ronan, let me add something. I didn't care when I was in America. Like that's like when I was working at the FBI in Washington, D.C., people were telling me, oh, it's expensive there, it's hard there. I was living in a Navy port. It was very expensive, if anybody knows. I bought me a house in LaDroit, one of the most expensive areas. I wasn't making that much money, but because I house hacked, I was able to execute on it. Like, I was living completely fine. I was making deals. I always tell people, since
Right.
I'm overseas, I make less money. I'd be richer if I were within America.
You're forced
Because
to
I'm closer
hustle
to the
more.
opportunities. Yeah. No,
You're
not even
forced to
that.
hustle more.
I love
I'm just
hustling though.
saying.
I love
Yeah, I
building
do
on
too.
my
I never
network.
stop. That's why I always say
I don't cry about these things.
Yeah.
Like, come over to Asia. Like, you come over with wealth thinking that it's easy. You ain't never seen hustling. I see 80. I could put my camera outside right now and there'll be an
Everything's out for
80-year-old woman
negotiation.
walking in a 90-degree sun trying to sell dry squid. And she's been trying to sell that dry squid from 4 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m. And she's 80. Her back
Right.
is like this, bro. She
Ain't
could
no Social
barely
Security
walk.
out here like that.
Ain't no retirement, Social Security. And her daughter's probably got babies that she got to watch too at the same time. So the kids out here working. Y'all don't know what hustle is, bro. It's light work in the States. So when I
It
go
is.
back, it's lights, camera, action. Like the nonsense y'all be tapped into, I'm not a part of it. I'm out here with my Jewish partners down here building up 100 million assets under management as a black man. I'm over here executing plays, going to go see Wall Street, going to see the starships over there down in Florida, like down in Texas. I'm doing something different. I'm not tapping into the news, hearing what they talking about. They taking everybody a loser. Nobody could buy a house. I'm buying house after house after house. Like, I'm not listening to them. They never like, what are you talking about? I was watching this. I seen a chart, DL saying it was a chart. It said basically every article since, and I don't want to exaggerate, so I'm going to be conservative, since 1980, every single article that said the markets are in a turmoil, when they said it was panic and it was the worst time in America, every single time, if you would have invested in the stock market, you would have had a 40% gain 7 months later, and it would have worked 100% of the time. So it was saying every time that the news said it was the worst time, everything was doom and gloom. If you would have invested in that time, you would have had a 40% return within the year on your money. That's ridiculous. I don't listen to them. So I just focus on building opportunities, folks that want to build. Anybody talking all that? Man, most people can't afford nothing. Most people are living check to check. There's a reason behind that. Have you seen the financial audit? People don't even know what they make on a monthly basis. People don't even know what their credit card rate is, their actual auto car rate is. People are terrible with their money. It has nothing to do with the soil. It has nothing to do with the Federal Reserve. It has nothing to do with the national debt. I always say this. If I wipe away the national debt, right now it's gone. You still a brokey. You spend more time thinking about the national debt than your debt. Because if I snap away the debt, you still got student debt. You probably still got credit card. That don't save you though. You still in a position. So the first thing you need to worry about is fixing yourself. And if you spent some time budgeting and doing what you need to do and getting your house in order, then you'll be all right, regardless of everything that's happening. And I think that's the best solution, is to give you positivity and the reality. The reality is everything's okay. You just got to do better. And you're not doing good. So that's the problem.
You're onto something there. I mean, most Americans have no idea what their individual financial situation is. I mean, you look at, the debt that America is carrying right now, record levels, and people don't really know how they're going to pay it back. You're right 100% about interest rates. People don't realize, you ask them like, well, what interest rate you carrying on that card? Oh, it's 7%. It's like, no, it's not. It's 23.5%. Like, bro, they're like, what? Like you said, you got to read it. Like, nah, it ain't 7%. It's 7% when you don't carry a balance. Right. So it's like, you've been carrying that balance. You're paying a lot of money for that. And I'm no expert, guys. I'm bad. I'm just not as bad as most Americans, but it's not just the individual American, is also corporate America. We have the biggest debt wall that's coming mature right now. It's coming to maturity. It's the biggest debt wall they've ever seen. And I don't know if the banks are going to be able to handle this shit. We're looking at guys who were, borrowing billions and billions of dollars at, 2.5%, 3.25%. Now it's time to resurface that debt, and they're not going to be able to get it for under 6.5%. Right. I mean, there's a lot of talk about, the Fed lowering the rate. And the reason they want to lower the rate to 3% is so they can save these corporations and by doing so, save the banks, in my opinion. Again, I'm no expert. Do your own research, look it up yourself.
Mhm.
But this debt wall is coming. Brother Ronnie, what do you think about the debt wall? Have you looked at it? Because I know you're not over here, so it might not even be on your radar.
I mean, I keep an eye on global finance, especially. That's my area. So, I know a lot of matter of fact, me and Financial are going to be talking about this one major British investor. He's well known, and he's talking down about not owning anything based out of America, including the dollar bill. And he's deflecting everybody to stay away from that type of investment in companies and everything. So I wanted to sit down with him, and we're going to do a reaction based on the facts that he brings to the table. You hear people talking about BRICS, which is never a happening thing, but they use it as a way of leveraging America against itself and fear-mongering other people to look into other ideas and investment. We do have debt, and America's old practice is always just to print more money. Our GDP still outpaces everybody else's GDP on a global scale. So until you can find somebody to outpace our GDP, as far as what the American dollar is backed off, because it's not off a gold standard anymore.
Yeah, then y'all ain't talking nothing.
Right. And then even with gold, if you look into who holds the most amount of gold in reserve, the Americans still own. I don't care how much everybody says China is buying. And yes, they are buying. They're still nowhere close to the tonnage that we have in gold in reserve. And we're selling off some of our gold too, just to even get it out on the market. So we still have gold reserves that we can always tap into if we have to, but they'll do whatever they can without having to tap into that reserve. And I'm talking tons, megatons of gold that's sitting there, even though we're not on the gold standard. And I think we did that as a default. If they ever wanted to revert back to the gold standard to hold the dollar, we would still have it.
Gold standard and other reserves too.
Right.
So people just ignore that. They just keep saying gold, gold, gold. He said gold and other reserve assets. So it wasn't just gold. It was like land and etc. So these things could be on the balance sheet and, of course, be a part of your assets. So I think most people just don't have financial literacy. So when they start talking about the national debt, they're financially illiterate. They can't run their household debt. Come on. You can't run a household debt. And then you're going to share an opinion. And you said it earlier, DL Saint, you got to have experience. So if you have zero experience, the worst track record of running your household expenses, how are you able to actually give a good valid point for national debt? Excuse me, that's extremely harder than your household debt. That has to do with about 350 million Americans and a GDP that's almost 30 trillion. So that's extremely difficult compared to your household debt, which is probably your household only probably got 60 grand coming in, 100 grand. You can't even manage that. So I say a lot of people are just financially illiterate talking about things. And so you have issues. You're always going to have issues when people talk about those things because they don't know. And I'll land here. Look, guys, corporations are actually great. I love corporations. I don't hate corporate, and all corporations aren't created equal. So I don't know I guess we just commies for the most part, and corporations are always doing something, perpetrating the fraud and doing something evil. But let me tell you about a corporation called Alphabet. It allowed a young black man who had no mentors to learn almost anything he ever wanted to. I was able to tap into any mentor that I wanted that ever existed in all human history for free. I was able to get access to information and skill sets for free. I don't have a degree. I have an MBA, major bank account, and I got it because Alphabet provided me with the who, what, when, where, how of any skill that I ever wanted to acquire. I wanted to do real estate. I went to YouTube. I wanted to do stocks. I went to YouTube. I went to Google. And it was free, Ron. It didn't cost me no money to do that. And I became a multimillionaire. That is what great companies and corporations have done for me. And so I invested back in those same said corporations, and those same said corporations provide free services and products for people across the world all day, every day. Because you click on racially ambiguous big booty broads, that's why it's bad for you. But if you use a social networking platform to change your life, it could do that. But it's all about what you click on the algorithm. The algorithm don't force stuff on you that you don't want to see. It is made to give you what you want. And so if you have garbage and all you know is social networking for garbage, then my sir, my lady, you are looking at garbage and you wanted it. You can get anything you want.
So here's the deal.
Corporations.
Yeah, shout out to corporations, but I am sick of the American version of corporate socialism. I'm a free capital guy. I'm a free market guy, right? Goldman, right? Bear, B of A, they should have all failed. All of them should have went out. This notion of too big to fail is bullshit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
They should have all failed.
Right. So
and
my thing is,
never been brought back.
Or if they could come back, fine. It's a free market. If you could figure it out, if you can get the investors. But my thing is this: I see why people are voting for the Democratic Socialists or whoever's going to go out there that can't be bought by the 1%, because the Republicans and the Democrats are all in the pocket of the 1%. Right. So I want to see free market capitalism. I 100% believe the Citizens United should be overturned. That was the dumbest thing ever. You just can't have unlimited corporate money. Citizens United. You can't just have unlimited. Yeah, you can't just have unlimited fucking corporate money so you can go in and buy influence from politicians, right? And so I'm with you in the sense that I want to see pure, right, capitalism. I want to see pure capitalism. I don't want to see this fucking corporate socialism bullshit that we have. I don't want to see Main Street money bailing out Wall Street money. I don't want to see the two things blend. There should not be a such animal as fucking too big to fail. Fuck them, they failed, but we got to keep doing it. Now, having said all that, right? Yeah,
so
I agree with you, bro.
But wait, I just want to ask questions. Should they not bail out citizens too? The government.
All those banks should have failed. Citizens should have. No. You talk about American citizens?
Yeah, they shouldn't.
Should they bail out American citizens? You're talking about should we remove social safety nets?
Whatever social programs and emergency contingent programs when they bail out Americans.
No, the government should be there when we are bailing out Americans. I see it as bailing out American infrastructure. I see it as keeping the union together. I don't.
Checks?
Stimulus checks? No, that was the dumbest thing in the fucking world. Absolutely not. Okay. The reason we got stimulus checks is because we got this fucking corporate socialism bullshit. Absolutely not. And no fucking stimulus checks. But we should have a FEMA.
Welfare. No FEMA. That's bailing out too.
No, that's not bailing out. That's protecting infrastructure. We should have a FEMA. Right?
Okay, you can't for the infrastructure, but it can't go to people. So it can go to the infrastructure like power grids, but it can't go into the people's hands. So it's got to go into fixing bridges. It got to go into fixing levees. It got to go into But you're talking about your insurance is going to pay for your fucking house, and if you know what I mean, and your insurance company shouldn't have the leverage from politicians so they can say that the house was the roof was blown off by the wind. I'm like, nah, you did one case. That's one case.
No, but it's just an example. It's plenty of examples out there. That's just the one I said tonight, but there are plenty of fucking examples. Right. Okay. You know, I truly believe I'm a big fan of George Gammon. I don't know if you guys have checked out his page, The Rebel Capitalist, George Gammon's channel. I believe in true capitalism. Let's see if it fucking really works. I do not like this social fucking, this socialist for corporations, right? This social safety net for corporations. Fuck them.
No, that's the good old boy network working for it.
Hold on. I'm for it because the same thing happens to the people. People get bailed out all the time. You know why the mortgage is actually 30 years? It's because the government had to step in and bail out Americans and extend the loans because they were having foreclosures on the homes when they were at 15% or 15 years, excuse me. And you know why what is it called? And you know why the down payment's also so low? It used to be 50% for a down payment. Now it's down to 3% because the government created that. You know why you got the FHA? You got, down payment programs, grants, loans. So there's many programs that work both ways. I think most people ignore that. Most people don't realize. And even those rich people who are in the corporate, they pay majority of the taxes anyways. Most brokies don't pay the taxes. So all the money anyways comes from a small few. It's the top 50% earners that pay majority of it, 97%. So I'm
say we
not with
go
the
back.
whole bunch of people just getting what's it called? Most people get handouts. They get welfare. They get free housing. Take that away
shit can
too.
stop. Yes.
Okay,
That
there
shit
we go.
because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Everything you said was 100% correct. But why is it that Americans can't afford a standard down payment? Why can't they pay their house off in fucking
Because
15
they're
years?
financially illiterate.
Because they're making the same fucking amount of money they were making back in the 1970s. In fact, my daddy was
Everywhere
making
has.
more money in 1970. His dollar had more purchasing power in 1970 than it does today in 2026. When people say people don't know shit, you're right about that. They really got it fucked up because people say, "Oh man, I'm gonna make six figures." I'm like, okay, six figures is a fucking 100,000 or 900,000. What you mean six figures? I need six figures. I'm like, do you know what the equivalent is today from six figures back in 1980 versus six figures today? Do you know how much that is? The average American doesn't fucking know that. I'm like, it's closer to $400,000. You think because you're making $100,000 a year, you fucking doing something? You ain't doing shit. The median household cost in this motherfucking country right now is what? Close to $400,000.
430,
Yet-
420, something like that.
Yet the median household income is less than fucking 100. It's what? It's between 86 and 92,000, depending on where you
Y'all
get
got more
your numbers.
problems than solutions. Y'all got more.
No. All I'm saying is,
all I'm saying is, anywhere you go in the world. See, this is what I'm saying. Comparison. This is why it's important. Ronan, you tell people to travel. Why? So they can have some comparison in their life. You could go almost anywhere. There's 195 countries in the world. A lot of places are way less affordable when it comes down to homes. Way less. You got it easy. And tell me why Chinese people only make 15,000, got more expensive real estate than you guys per square footage, less land, obviously, so their housing is going to be very more expensive, but they own 3 homes. They own more homes as much as Americans own cars. Again, you're financially illiterate. That's your problem. You can say what you say about the actual salary. I got you. Okay, go ahead.
My turn. If we had true capitalism here, right? Free capital, like a true capitalist, Americans would be making enough money to buy the shit. That's all I'm saying. Corporations don't have to pay motherfuckers, right, a living wage. When you adjust for inflation, Americans are working harder and making less because the dollar has less spending power. To your point. So all I would say is, Brother Ronan is right, and you're right. I'm looking at Peru. The only reason I'm here now is because I'm waiting for my daughter to graduate high school. I want to get her set up in college, and I'm the fuck out of here. I'm gonna be in Lima, right? I'm with you. I want America to survive because I still want that chunk. I want my pension. I still want America to survive because if America goes under, I lose my pension, I lose my VA. Right? We all understand that shit. I ain't trying to lose that. Right? So I want America to survive, but at the same time, I gotta call strikes and balls, bro. You know what I mean? These corporations are getting over. I ain't mad. I'm trying to get into the 1%. Fuck, send me some bread. I'll be in the 1%. You want to shut me up? Send me 10 million right now. I'll shut the fuck up. I'm gone. You know what I mean?
Hey,
but
Dino.
until then, but the game is rigged because they have all the leverage. I'm not mad. I never hate the players. You can only hate the game. Brother Financial, there's a question here for you. I don't know if you can see it. Sorry.
Go ahead and run it up. Yeah. Question for Frontier. Why do you think credit card debt for Americans is so out of control? That's a personal issue. I'm telling you. But go ahead.
They don't know. Yeah, they don't. Go ahead, brother.
Corporations. They set y'all up. It's all everybody's fault. It's American fault. No, the truth is what you decided it's going to be. I said what I said. I stand on my statements. But if you want to have that mindset, you're going to have that mindset, and there's nothing I can do to change that. That's why most people who whip money don't say nothing to y'all, because y'all mind is got y'all in a position you ain't. I love America. There's massive amounts of opportunity, but I don't get it concluded that corporations out here screwing me. And they give out free equity. They give out shares. They put 100% up on your 401k. They do so many things. There's so much opportunities. But if all you want to see is troubles and problems and look at everybody and they broke and they poor and that's the reason, okay, you got it. And guess what? Life is going to handle you accordingly. So I'm not really bugging. I'm not tripping. Nothing's going to change in my life. But the way I see it and the way I played it is only my prescription. And so if you want to get laced with game and end up a multimillionaire, but come from nothing, then this is just how I did it. But the moment I stopped thinking that everybody was my enemy and all this other BS about housing ain't affordable, people told me I was black and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that because they didn't want me to win, all that nonsense. Once I stopped listening to all that nonsense and restructured my approach and my mentality,
Right.
I started winning that life. But hey, that's my prescription. If you want to argue against it, argue. As I said earlier, I'm not trying to win a debate in this conversation. I just win in real life. That's all I do. So I get
Molly,
it.
Molly,
People have their mentalities. It is what it is.
Molly, the big thing is people need to have self-control. It's not about the credit card. It's about the interest rate. And if you accept the credit card at a high interest rate, then you better know how to use it sparingly. Not every day for just general purposes. It better be for emergency reasons. And you better pay it back right away so you don't have to incur the interest rate. But people don't use it that way. They get these credit cards. They know they got high interest rates, and they ease their way into constantly spending and having to pay. And now you're in that trap. Remember when they used to have payday loans? Payday loans, same thing as these credit cards nowadays. Okay, they're gonna keep you like a succubus, coming back around to pay. Once you fall in that trap, you in that trap for a lot of years. So the best thing is not to take the trap, or be responsible with your credit. I used to run away from credit, and this is why I'm saying that. For a long time, my ex-wife ran up credit on me so bad, man, I was scared of credit. If I couldn't buy something in cash, I wouldn't buy it. And this is long after I was divorced from her. I had to go back and fix everything because she leveraged everything against my social security number. I was the one working, right? I always boast about I was the one working. She was an at-home wife, right? So all the credit was on my balance, right? So she ran it up. I had to pay it, and I learned my lesson. But for a long time, I ran away from credit. But in order to buy things, you have to have credit in this world. You can't buy everything in cash, in America especially. And other places like here, yeah, they expect you to pay everything in cash, even for land. There ain't no fucking financing out here. When they say they own land, they actually own the land. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like
Not
that,
in America.
used to be like that in America.
Yes, but you leverage everything now against the loans, interest rate, and all these other things because we don't have the available cash because the exorbitant prices of land and everything else has gone up in America. But at the end of the day, it's still about self-control, discipline, getting your credit score where you need to be in, and being able to buy things that you can freaking afford. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses because that's what gets you in trouble.
Yeah, and Brother Frontier and Brother Ronan seem to be in line on this. Their message is the same. Americans are in a shit ton of credit card debt because they're just bad with money. You know, it just at the end of the day, that's what it is. And then, you can get mad at companies for, making all that money off of you. You can get mad, but at the end of the day, you took the card. You agreed to the terms. Right now, there's a massive wave of auto repro. What do they tell when they take your car back?
Because these cars are running $70,000-$80,000. Yeah, these cars are damn near like houses, damn near.
Yeah, these people out here paying upwards of $1,000+ on a car note because they want a scat pack, a bullshit ass American made car. A bullshit ass American car, you paying all that money.
I used to sell cars. After I sold cars and saw the product behind the window, like behind the mirrors, I never bought a brand new car in my life. I would either do a lease value against a fucking brand new car, or I would go buy 1 or 2 year older car after it's already depreciated and took its nut. And then go buy that. I never buy brand new no more. For what?
The average car made today, even American cars, which are a lot of them are just trash like Fords, but even they're going to give you 100,000 miles plus if you just change the oil. So buying a brand new car is ridiculous unless you have an LLC set up or you're doing it through a corporate play. If you're just going to go out here and buy a car in your name, brand new, because you want the new car smell, you out of your damn mind.
You might as well lease it. The leases are fair. If you know how to do leasing against a car, you're driving it for the best years of its life for the first 2 to 3 years of it with 0 miles on it, and then you roll it in, and then you pick up the next new car. If you know what you're doing, you can actually take advantage of having new cars every 2 to 3 years. But if you fuck that shit up, you're gonna be upside down, and then you start to fall behind the wheel, and now you're rolling downhill.
People are getting their cars repossessed because they're getting in financial trouble. They lose their job or whatever. So they take their lease car and they're going to start doing like Ubering with it. They didn't read the contract of the lease, and the contract stipulates that you can't use this thing for for Uber Eats or Uber or whatever.
Appreciate the vehicle. Yeah.
But you violated the contract and they repossessed the car. That's what they're doing. You violated because once you go, yeah, that's going on right now, bro. It is really bad. And here's the thing: this isn't gonna destroy America. I think this whole process is gonna make Americans smarter.
It's gonna do a reset. Yeah, you're gonna have to reset your mind financially.
It's going to be some pain. We got a super chat. Appreciate or a super sticker. Thank you very much. Was that Shinzerville? $5, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I promise I will not give this money to the stripper. I promise that I won't do. I will invest this money into this platform. I just bought a bunch of lights, guys. So I have the big box lights now. I got a ring light, of course. I just did a whole bunch of stuff. Say again?
No.
I said, did you just turn on the lights this show?
I just know it's my new process. I didn't have them before. So like this one, like this light right here, this light right here. I didn't have this one. I had like a small little light, and I had this ring light over here. So I went and got this, and I have another one just like it. I got a travel kit now, so I run off of. I got a Rodecaster Pro. I got two Rode mics with the arms. ZV. I mean, I'm every dime I get. I'm just saying this, guys. I'm not trying to flex. I just want to tell you. Yeah, how much I appreciate it. And look, I know how hard $5. Some people be like, man, $5 ain't shit. Yes, I've done well. Yes, I will go out and have I go to Carbone's, it's gonna be $3, $300 a head to eat. Probably if I took these dudes, gotta eat more. Ronnie don't look like he missed a meal. And you know what I'm saying? And you got Finance over there. He over there financially like he top shelf. He want the most expensive whiskey. Like bring down that shit off the box.
And he don't want the regular turf. He wants that damn Wagyu A grade.
Hey,
you know
that shit's so good, bro. The best steak I ever had in my life was in Tokyo. We were we're just outside of Kobe, and we had some of that. Man. When I had that food, it made me mad. I came back to America like, well, I thought we were supposed to have the best shit over here, bro. I just had the best steak ever. In a little joint, bro. It was so damn good. I'm a foodie, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love a good meal.
I can tell.
I'll pay for a good meal, man. You only live this many times, y'all. You only live this many times. I want to experience all that shit. But now, but if you give me $5, I truly appreciate it because I don't take that shit for granted, man. You had to earn that bread, and I truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. And for anyone out there who's gives a donation, it goes right back into the business. It really does. Man, this was, hey y'all, I really appreciate that. And I guess the $5 went to you. It didn't come to me. That's on your plate, on your platform.
I just let you go, man. I
just saw a little icon.
Maybe
I just saw a little icon.
No, I want you to sell it. Sell it. That's very true. I'm on my travel kit too. It was.
That's cold-blooded capitalism.
Capitalism, baby.
DL, he did you like a corporation. He didn't.
No. I made mine though. I made mine tonight. This was one of mine. I made mine. So that was for.
So we all.
We all eating. That was mine. But I believe in capitalism, man. That's how that shit should work. and y'all know I'm like half tipsy.
But the whole thing is what you were saying earlier. Capitalism. I don't believe bailouts are survival of the fittest. That's the way it's supposed to be. And these government bailouts, I believe, is a little bit of bullshit, but they leveraged, employment to get the government money, but they didn't do the right thing with the government money. So once somebody fools you once, shame on you. But don't do that shit again. Don't do that shit again.
I do want to add some context. Each one of those deals where they bailed them out, those guys paid back the government times plus.
Did they?
So when they bailed out, yes. Nobody looks at that. The government
all right, no harm, no
made
foul.
money off that.
If they paid them back, then that's fine.
The TARP money got paid out.
FEMA, and that's why they still got Freddie Mac and Freddie Mae.
I was under the impression they didn't pay it back, but if they paid it back, I got you. Yeah.
Now,
And
The
that's fair.
government still
That
getting
was a
paid. They
bailout.
still getting paid from Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac. Because they like, it's good money. Why would we give it back? You idiots. Y'all done messed it up. We're going to keep it and keep running with the rock. So they paid it back.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was one of the guys who like let it burn. People like, oh, we just can't. We got to bail them out. I'm like, nope. I thought we would have been fine. Let it burn.
He said, fuck it.
Let it burn.
I mean, we're military though. We like that. We like fuck it. You burned your bridge, fuck you. You know, you just
let it
die on the
burn.
vine.
Right, because
yeah,
they
I
did
get it.
pay that money back, but they were supposed to use that money to lend it out to Americans, and they didn't. They used that money to pay bonuses and golden parachutes and all that kind of shit, which is, again, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what they used it for, right? Because America did recover, and they did pay the money back. So to Brother Financial, I can't fault him on that. I'm like, fuck, he's right.
Let's put it this way. The companies recovered. The people that owned the properties that they lost because of subprime loans, they didn't get bailed out.
But if they held on
But
to
they
that property, if they held on to that property, they're okay now. Think about it. If you went through that
why
shit,
would
you were in
they?
Cincinnati. Yeah, you're on it. If you had a fourplex, right, in Cincinnati,
Mhm.
Ohio,
That
for
I couldn't
instance,
afford and I couldn't rate and I forged.
You should have never been
Document.
financed for it in the first place. That's
But here's the
Yeah,
thing,
but I
though.
was because average people was doing it to get commission.
Right.
So people was doing fraud.
But check this out though. Let's say you had a fourplex, and let's say you couldn't afford it, but you got in there, right? You got 3 renters, and they're all, Section 8. That meant you were all right. You made it through the downturn, and now your property, which maybe it went negative equity, 2008, 2009, 2010, but here in 2026, shit is probably up, what, 45% or more?
Winning.
Damn, bro, you get money over there, man. I'm starting to get jealous, goddamn shit. How can I be down?
Hey, my client, my
Hold on. Let me
I'm
show him
a
some
little
love.
bit
Let me show him
older
some
than you.
love. Hold on,
Yeah.
1 second. Show him some love. Don DeMarco put it up $5.
Don DeMarco.
Thank you for the $5 super chat, Super Snitzerville. I said Super Snitzerville. Good Lord. Well, anyway, he said, what do you do when you have a 49-year-old divorced twice mom of 2 grown males who is trying to pressure you into dating her exclusively? Well, okay.
Right. Can
Hold
I
up.
answer that
First
one?
of all,
Can I?
Snitzerville. No, let me go first. Snitzerville. As somebody that married a single mom, but he was a lot younger, he was only 8. If you already have kids, there's nothing wrong with marrying a woman that has kids that are grown and up out of the house. You don't have that interference of the baby daddy or any of that drama going on. They're grown ass kids. They're not in your house. They don't have anything to do with your interaction with your woman. If she's cute, if she's the one for you, it shouldn't matter whether she has kids at that age, especially if you're at that age and you already had kids. I don't encourage stepfatherhood at all, especially if you don't have children. I want you to experience having your own child first before you go and inherit somebody else's kids and build their legacy off of your hard work of training their child, because I did that. There's no return on that. You get what I mean? So build your own legacy through your own children first. But if she already has kids and they're grown, depending on how old you are, go for it.
Bro, 49-year-old
Yeah.
divorced twice mom.
She could
49-year-old
be
divorced
fine as
twice
hell. I've
mom.
seen some fine 29-year-olds, man. Come on now. Stop
Bro,
playing.
49-year-old divorced twice.
He said toxic.
Mom
All he can hear is
of-
toxicity.
of 2 grown males.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Bro, you need to cut and run, my friend. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're not if you guys aren't cohabitating, like if she's not living under your roof, you're not living under her roof like full time. If you guys, aren't, hopefully you're thinking about marriage. If you're here in the States, be careful with the common law stuff. But bottom line, you're with a woman who doesn't have a lot of leverage, my friend. You can always find another woman. So just cut your losses, man. The thing that bothers me most about that is, is like you're saying she's pressuring you. You know what I mean? Don't do that, man. Fuck that, bro. Move on. You don't want to get the one-itis. If you got her, let's say she is fine. let's say Ronan is correct, and she's she's looking like Selma Hayek in her prime, looking like Halle Berry in her prime. All right, cool. Just keep smashing her. Don't get her pregnant. Fuck it, keep it moving. You get to go. Don't live with her. Don't have her live with you. Don't be involved in her bullshit. Play the game. But if you got feelings for her, man, I would say cut and run, bro. Just go get another one. Go get two more. Go get two more. 50-year-old women. There are a lot of them out there. Hey, man, shit, gotta eat, baby. Gotta eat. Shit, ain't too many days left. I would let that go. I
already know what finance is gonna say.
Man, he playing Tetris.
No.
He said I ain't got no comment. He ain't dealing with that shit because that ain't his vocabulary.
Hey, look, I say relationship advice is the same way as financial advice. I don't know what type of man you are and what you want, so it's hard. I can only tell you what I do. And two words that I don't like is divorce and pressure. So you mix those two words together and I'm out. It ain't a deal for me. I can only talk about that, but I don't know what type of dude you are, what you want, and you know what I'm saying? Like somebody pressuring you, like that's what DL Saint said. The pressure part, like you don't pressure nothing over here. Like, I say what it is and you just flow with it. But divorce, I don't know. I don't know what's with that neither. So you know the real details of it. You're just trying to ask for permission.
I know it's a vague statement. It is. Because the pressure part, yeah, that's a definite bro, she pressuring you by cooking for you? Like, brothers go to the church nowadays. The sisters in the church say, "Amen." Next thing you know, they're all trying to cook and invite you over for Sunday dinner.
But see, this is why I said I don't know what type of man you are. Because I tell all my girls, I'm open. Like, I'm a polygamist, whatever the heck y'all call that stuff. Like, I'm never exclusive. And that's just me. That's just how I want to live my life.
But do they
I'm
have
open,
to be
honest,
exclusive?
and transparent. They can
do
do
they
whatever
have to
they
be
want. I don't care.
with you?
I don't care.
Okay, so
I don't care.
it's either way.
I don't
Okay.
care. Yeah,
now,
most of them will.
That's playerism right there. That's just being a player with it. And where I respect most about what Brother Financial just said, this is something I try to drive home to the young guys. Don't lie to these women. Tell these women what it is. Tell them what it is. This is what I'm doing. You're in the rotation. Good news and bad news, baby. Good news is you made the squad. You're in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news, you're number 8.
And can I tell you some dark psychology real quick?
You're not going to get quality time, but you made the squad. And if you get...
Congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, I broke up. Can y'all hear me again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Let me tell you some dark psychology because it's always a power game. This is the Game of Thrones over here. Listen, even when I say I don't want exclusivity, sometimes I don't even want to exercise it. I don't want to exercise being with another girl. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. But the whole thing for me is, this is how I think. Most of the time when a shorty matches with me, I maybe meet like 10 of her bullet points that she wants out of a man. Maybe she might meet like 5 of mine, right? But I love to see humility in the women's eyes. Because if you really think about it, you as a man, right? Like most of you guys want to be in a relationship with a broad where you protect and provide. Some of these guys are willing to, put their life on the line for a broad, not the other way around. That's the ultimate sacrifice. I don't know what grander gesture you could do for somebody that you love and adore, right? And then step in front of her to protect her and risk your life, right? But you as a woman can't even see me with another girl. I can't do what I want to do if I don't want to date exclusively. I don't have the right to do that. But I got the right to lose my life on your behalf. So I just think the construct is wild for me. Other people do it, and I don't have nothing to say about it. But for me, it just seemed kind of wild. Like you telling the big homie, I'm the modern Genghis Khan. Now, of course, I'm not as renowned as him. You get me? But I'm like a little small micro Genghis Khan, right? So I do what I want.
That's
I'm a micro
should
Genghis
be.
Khan.
That's how
Hey,
everybody should be.
The DL, this is Molly. She's one of my followers. She doesn't know you that well. Give her a little background on who you are to my people.
Okay.
As far as hating America, because as a serviceman, I know you don't hate America, but go ahead.
I don't hate America. As a serviceman, as a paratrooper, as a veteran of foreign war, I don't hate America. I'll always love America. I'm just ready to love America from afar. And I'm thinking Peru will be far enough. I'm not happy with a lot that's going on in our country, but it is what it is. You know, it goes through the good and the bad. And if you get yourself in a situation or a position where you can choose to live somewhere else on the planet, and you want to execute on that plan, I think you should be able to do it. But now I love America. I'm a patriot. I just don't like where we are right now. We are here because of people that we chose to put in power. We are here because of things. Yeah, and we're here because of things. We signed on the dotted line, so to speak, and we allowed this shit to happen. It breaks my heart and it tears me apart when I see stuff that's going on like the Middle East. Think about it. We fought in that same region back in 1990. We fought in that. The three of us fought in that same theater in 1990. Here it is, 2026. We're still fighting over there. We just lost. When I woke up today, we had lost 2 service members in Jordan. It was a missile attack.
Wow.
There's 1 MIA, and I think there was another 4 that were injured, 4 wounded. It was either 4 or 6. I hate seeing that. I really do, but I love America. I'll never hate America. I'll never raise my hand to America, but I'm just ready to love America from afar. I do not want America to fail. I'm invested. I'm invested in America. This is how I get my bread, not just the government bread, but all the other stuff I got going on. Y'all gotta have. We gotta have multiple forms of income, multiple streams of income, guys. We gotta have that. So, pleasure to meet you, though, sis. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, these 304. Hey, look, I love 304s, man. I love chicks, man. Big up to the girls. I'm like Cisco Skid. I love them.
Frisco, I say.
You know what I have to tell them, say? Big up my girl, on the side, cause I them flex the best.
I love them. I'm over here DJing, half sleep, half drunk.
Right.
Hell, you know what I mean? So
you know how it is, man. You pull up to the table with us, you're gonna leave either crawling or carry. We don't stop.
I'm glad I got my supersized beanbag up here. It doubles as a bed if you need to. You just move it out as a bed. I got that right here. I don't have to go all the way downstairs to my room. I just stay up here in the loft. But yeah, man. I mean, like I said, I appreciate you guys. I did want to talk about the debt wall. We talked about that. We talked about real estate. We talked about networking. Fellas, I think overall this was an outstanding panel. I don't normally do panels, and I'm so honored that you guys have jumped over here, man, and shown us support. Shout out to all y'all people. You know what I mean? Like we got your people over here. I guess the last thing I want to talk about, since we just kind of talked about it now with Peru and all that, travel. Let's talk about travel, man. Because I have a lot of young guys that follow me. When I started getting into these YouTube churches, I was deep in the red pill world. Just supportive of the guys over there. Big supporter of Fresh and Fit. I was always in the studio. I actually did one of their shows. Went to all the parties and all that. Got a lot of young guys ask me a lot of questions. And what would you recommend to guys? What would you tell guys who are asking you, hey, OG, should I travel? Should I consider leaving? Or should I just stay here in America? What would you guys say?
I mean, personally, to me, it's not a one size fit all. It's not for everybody. I would say travel, experience some places. I mean, go on training wheels, go down to Jamaica, go to the Bahamas, just get out of the country and unwind, because it's a different feel when you leave this country and land in another country, of how you're approached, the tension level that you have on your back, because the next day you wake up, you ain't really got to go to work. You ain't got no stress. And some of these countries will make you slow the hell down, especially if you go down to Barbados or Bahamas. They don't move. They move at a snail's pace. You can't be in a rush, not even in a fast food restaurant. They're going to make you wait. Okay, so then it's going to get you off of that. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You got to get out of that mindset. So sometimes you got to do training wheels. But as you travel, I feel like you get a better appreciation for America, first of all. And all of us as servicemen know that. We've seen the worst of the worst when it comes to certain societies, third world countries, developing nations, whatever you want to call it. We've seen their ghettos compared to ours, and there's nowhere close to being anywhere in America that's worse than some of these countries we come from. So while a lot of people try to throw dirt at some of these countries about the way they live and everything else, They don't know any better. You know, when you only make $500 a month, but you can still be happy, yet and still you're living in poverty, there's something to say about that too. There's a different priority when you leave a country. When you live in those countries, it's not about money. It's not about things that you have that don't mean anything. They're going to sit on a shelf and you're just bragging about it while sitting on the shelf. Money wasted. They don't waste money like that. But a lot of them aren't exactly what you think they are. They're very sneaky. They're very conniving. They see that there's wealth in America and they will take advantage of you. So don't go around the world naive either. You carry that blue book, you do become a target if you're not aware. You know, but I encourage all people to travel. I'm down for that. Travel with awareness and enjoy the culture, enjoy the people, learn something while you're there, and then come back to America and look around to see if your friends did anything different than you, or does it feel like they were standing still? Because I can guarantee you the minute you come back from your travels, anybody on your block, all your friends will feel like they hadn't changed, they hadn't done anything while you had all these experiences in your travel. And you'll notice that's a big thing. But why am I relaxed? But they feel like they've been standing still. When I got on the plane, they stopped. Everything froze. You come back and they're still in the same place. But you've gained all this extra information. And I'll land my plane there.
Shit, that was some.
Wake
that was
up,
some
financial.
deep-
I know I put you to
finance.
sleep with that. He's like, fuck
You
that,
know.
get money.
Get money. But I will say this real quick. Like Peru or anywhere I travel, I don't go there for the women. Wherever I go, I have a good time. You know what I mean? I'm a firm believer in when in Rome, do as the Romans. I learn about the area, I learn about the culture. I meet folks, I treat people the way I want to be treated. We talked about this on your platform. So
Yeah.
learn how to do that. Learn how to travel. When I hear about people having trouble when they go somewhere, I'm like, bro, you always have trouble no matter where you go. It ain't Peru's fault or Brazil's fault or Colombia's fault or you know what I mean, or America's fault. It's a you problem, homie. You need to get your shit right. But brother financial, what would you tell the young guys about travel and you know that sort of thing?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time traveling, and I think it's amazing. I mostly worked overseas, so I wasn't like just coming day and night or for a week. I was living there. But one thing I would say is you got to open your eyes. And I would say, for me, I can only give you a prescription that worked for me. So if you want to use it, cool. If you don't, that's also cool. But I love both. I don't think it's like a situation where I have to choose. I love America because it allows me to live this amazing life in Thailand, Brazil, Switzerland. I could almost live anywhere in the world I want because I'm an American. And because also I took advantage of the American opportunities. I created opportunities for myself. I became rich. I don't becoming rich just for rich sake. I came rich for freedom, time freedom, good health. Like that's to be completely free. Don't have to work. And so this is the reason why I got money. This is why I think money is important. And so when I go over the countries also, I do open my eyes. In this struggle, people are hurting. It's as messed up as it is in America. Now they're nice to me because I'm the rich guy, and you know. But at the end of the day, these people are struggling. Look at the crime rates. That's all you need to do. Go to Brazil. You know what I'm saying? Look up the crime rates. Money means something to them people. Look at the crime. And so we just got to be smart and be aware of it. And I say take advantage of America and then also take advantage of the world. There's opportunities. Do right when you go overseas and just understand that nuance and that balance. I don't want to have to, you know, come up off of the Brazilian economy. That would be really hard. I'd rather come up on the American economy and then go to Brazil. So I always say, my big thing is, you know, this is something that Joe Biden's not going to tell you or Donald Trump. I always say, make Americans great again, not America. I think the country's already doing good, but it's up to Americans. I would live in America if they had the spirit of Thai people. Thai people are extremely nice, man. I just like who they are as a people, how they bow to people on a daily basis and show respect and honor. That's just in their culture. But that's what those people decide to do. They decide to keep that in the culture too. So I just like that about them. And it shows mad love and respect on a daily basis. So that's what I enjoy about it. That's why I live here. And so I think, again, make your money, build yourself up, Because what you don't want to do is come out here and try to make money, and then you a brokey getting kicked out because you know what I'm saying. Thailand don't want no brokies neither. You got to come up here with some paper. Brazil don't want no bums neither. They changing the rules and regulations. They don't want no backpackers, no hostile status. They change. They want people who are coming out here with some money in their pocket and some options and some wisdom. And so build that up, build up your stripes, and then you could go overseas. And you could chew gum and walk at the same time. So if you're on your mission, you can go out and, you know, do deployments. What we call it, Ronan? R&R. Relaxation and recoup.
Yeah.
Right? So tap in, do that, build your empire, and have an exit plan. Have an exit plan. That's what it's all about. You'll always be miserable if you stay in America and got no exit plan, or if you leave with no exit plan. Always have an exit plan, because there's some people who leave, come over here, live the Thailand dream for a year, gotta go back, and now they hate themselves. Like, so just have your exit plan and build on it, and then you'll be good. And you can live anywhere you want, Middle America or otherwise.
Bro, that was great advice from both of you brothers. Both of you brothers.
You can say me.
Right.
You don't have to put Ronan in there. You could just say me.
Right.
You don't have to put Ronan in there.
Hey,
I mean, he took a long way to get there.
It's all good. Yeah. I'm
He
not
took
a glory
a long
monger.
way to get there,
Okay.
but it was still good.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, he took the
Hey,
extended. It was the
and
extended version.
Hey, real quick with this Molly thing, I just found out Zoe brought a Peruvian chick that he is off and on his YouTube channel. I don't know what the situation was, but from what I know that I've seen with Zoe, that was rushed. He didn't wean her into that. He literally just put her on a plane and brought her to New York and expected her to act a certain way, you know, without weaning her into even in that existence. So it almost seems to me like he pedalized her to a point where she took advantage. Like, hey, you don't want to flew me up here. You need to appreciate that I even got on the plane, type of thing. So she came entitled.
It's part of
And now he's
part
up
of the
there.
game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. I keep telling them, man, the game don't care, bro. It's cold out here, bro.
I was
Game
telling
don't
people
care.
here, I said, my lady
Yeah,
is
right.
not used to the kind of money I make. So it would be irresponsible of me to put her in a bubble, take her out of a bubble without weaning her into that. You get what I'm saying? Exposing somebody to too much, the expectation is this high because you gave them the world already. You didn't wean them up to get used to it. How were you when you first came into money? You blew it. Then you learned after you blew it, like, God damn, I regret blowing this money on this. You started learning from your mistakes on how to hold on to it better, how to invest it better. You got to make those mistakes, but you expose somebody that had never had money before in their life, kind of like that, and give them access to 100% of it. And you don't expect them to go hog wild or do something stupid? Come on now. If
Hey,
you
that's
don't
real
break
talk.
them early and you don't bring them into it little by little to where they can be more responsible, you can teach them the mistakes you already made with the money so they can make better choices. Like my lady here, man, she's a hustler, man. She buys like knockoff bags and resells them. You make her own money.
I am not affiliated with that activity, Your Honor.
Right.
And anybody who's watching.
Allegedly, this is what she does, but it's legal here, but it's allegedly. But I mean, like I said, I bought a truck. She rebuilt it. You know, she put brand new wheels on it, rims. The lift kit was redone, all that stuff. You know, so when you have someone that builds with you or actually adds to or enhances something, what is that the definition of? But a wife. She's supposed to take something to make it better.
Yeah, man. The key in all that is value add. If you're dealing with a woman, she has to add value. If you want to take it, if you want to do the shock value thing and take her from where she is to take her to where you at, and if that's a vertical jump for her,
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that. You can do that, but you got to be prepared. You got to be
Set the
absolutely prepared.
expectation.
Well,
Yeah.
no, if she screws it up, right? You got to get rid of her ASAP. Ain't no talking about it, no nothing. She's showing you who she is.
Who she is.
Ain't no talking about it. It just gotta move on. That's the game. Now, most people don't know how to play the game, especially when it comes to beautiful women, and they gonna struggle. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It just you gotta, if you want to get good at this game, it's like any other game, man. Get your swings in, pay attention to what you're doing, right? You gotta self-assess. Right? After action
He
reports.
brought that. She said he sold her She said she sold Zoe a dream and lied. Yeah, pretty much. That's what they'll do.
That's the game.
I mean,
ain't it?
Filipinos are famous for it. The Filipinos been dealing with Americans since the 1800s. We owned them until the 1940s. You don't think Filipinos have every game in the book? You know how many Navy, Marine, Army, anybody was stationed on the Philippines married a Filipino bar girl. 2 years she played him, and the next thing she knows, she got 2 kids and a green card, and she's out of there. The house is empty.
To the land of
That's
the
a
big
playbook.
PX.
Yeah, take me to the land of the big PX. And if somebody comes off with just that as a word or a phrase, you already know the objective is to get to the money, not you. Take me to the land of the big PX. Oh, bitch, you about money. It ain't about me. It ain't about love. It ain't about shit about you having access.
It is what it is. But I'm gonna have to shut this down because shit, I'm trying to get my eyes
man.
closed before the sun comes up. It's almost 5 a.m. Yeah, it's almost 5 a.m. where I'm
here
at.
already. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
only the
yeah.
afternoon for us. Yeah, you know.
Exactly. So you can still go outside and play. I'm about to go to sleep.
I'm about to
And
go
my
downstairs and sit down with my lady and have a nice little talk and maybe munch on something. It's 4:52 in the afternoon. Here. Sunday
this was
afternoon.
amazing, brother. Next time we get together doing football season, especially, man, if you don't take down that nasty ass Kansas City rag, bro.
Man, what's your team? What's your team?
I'm from Cincinnati.
Oh,
goddamn.
you know we got a problem with the Bengals.
Oh,
With your
man,
little overrated quarterback.
What?
Your little overrated quarterback.
Somebody's feelings.
No. I can guarantee you, DL, when they are playing each other, we're gonna be on a live and watching it, and you won't get your feelings hurt on live.
Oh, we could definitely do that because
right.
Do we play y'all this season? I think we got you on the schedule this season.
Yeah, I'm sure we do.
If we don't have your regular season, we're definitely gonna see you in the playoffs.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So yeah,
I'm sure we do.
You have my word.
When that matchup happens, we're gonna do a live. We're gonna do a live. Bengals versus the Chiefs.
100%. That's gonna be fire, brother. Financial.
And your boy Fearless is a Cincinnati fan. He's from Ohio.
Oh, that's what's up. I'm from Cincinnati. I grew up, born and raised in Cincinnati. So
y'all can talk.
It's gonna be good times, man. I appreciate you, brother Ronnie, brother Financial. I want to give you guys, before you go, I just want to give you guys your final thoughts. Remember, I gotta go to sleep. So brother Ronan, quick, first with your final thoughts, and then we'll go to brother Financial, then I'm out of here.
Do men and women peak at different ages? Absolutely. It's all in what you're looking for. I don't care if they peaked or didn't peak. It's their personality. It's what they come for, their morals or ethics. It's the toxicity, the trauma. It's all those things. It's whatever you want to put up with, or whatever your deal breakers are, or your standards of the type of woman you want. I don't look at any of that. It's not a deciding factor for me, besides for the things I look for. You go for what you want to go for. If you like that hot and irritating toxic woman because y'all get it down in the bedroom, hey, that's on you. You got to be 100% aware of your choice. But when you make a choice, I'll tell you this: do not hold on to it with a grip. If you see a red flag, run, let it go. But some of y'all will hold on to that shit because you feel like you can't get another one. You can't. Believe me, brother, let it go. Feel the pain. You'll get another one. Just keep working at your craft. Keep bettering yourself, and they'll come anyway. So even if you lose one, another one will be right down the road sooner or later, and that's it.
That's fine. There'll be another bus along directly. Brother Financial, what's your final thoughts?
If you weak and a creep, I don't know what to do. But if you put in that work, a man can reach his peak and live life on fleek. That's all I got to say. Much respects to DL the Saint.
I appreciate y'all, man. Don DeMarco to you, brothers.
Don DeMarco.
And that's it, people. That's our show. Man. Cool. I'll break it down. That's our show, people. Thank you so much for everything, man. That was amazing. Y'all know I don't do long shows, man. It's 4 hours and 27 minutes. I don't do that. I'm just so honored and I'm so blessed that my brother Marines stepped forward and jumped up here and help me, do a great show, man. You guys will be seeing more Brother Financial and more Brother Ronan. I really enjoyed that conversation. I hope y'all enjoyed that conversation too. Big up to everyone on Brother Ronan's platform who was over here this evening, and I really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for checking it out. Please, 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 if you guys like what you saw, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment. If you're watching this on Team Replay, comment. If you're watching this on a short, come on over here and show us some love. We're small, but we're growing. I really, really appreciate it. I'm DL Saint, and it's time for me to sign off. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. I'm tired, y'all. Good night.
Darn, that's the end.